Okay, in this problem, it says that we want to solve the proportion. So right here, we have a proportion. A proportion is when we have two ratios that are set equal to each other. So 8 over 4 plus b is a ratio, and 2 over 6 minus b, that's a ratio. And when we set them equal to each other, that's when it becomes a proportion. So I want to look back really quickly at where that came from. Remember, we learned this in class about the extremes and the means are the two different types of numbers. The extremes being the first and the last numbers in the two ratios, and the means being the two in the middle, the purple there. So when we solve a proportion, it's basically like back in this problem that we just came from. When it's asking you to solve the proportion, it's asking you to find the variable. In this case, it's b. Okay, so we want to find what b equals. So again, we'll go back, and I'm going to use the cross product property to solve this. So if we look down here at the cross product property, it states that we should be able to just multiply the extremes by each other, and that equals the means, the product of the means. Now, there's a reason for this, okay? So I want to talk about why this works, to just take the red numbers and say, oh, AD equals B times C, and we get this nice little equation here. Well, that comes from the fact that we want to get rid of the denominators here. So on the left, our denominator is B, and so we just multiply the left side of the equation by B. Okay, but if I do something to the left side of the equation, I have to do it times on the right side. So I multiply the right side by b as well. And then I have another denominator that I want to get rid of, which is d. So I multiply this side, the right side by d, and I also multiply the left side by d so that I can do the same thing on both sides. Now, if I look at my right side, I can cancel out the b's now, and I'm left with a times d, which is what we have right here, AD. And then on the right side, I can cancel out the d's, and I'm left with b and c right here, which is what we have over here, b times c. So that's why that works, AD equals BC. So now let's go back and apply that knowledge to the problem that we were working on before. I'm going to multiply the extremes and set those equal to the product of the means. So the extremes here are 8, and I multiply that by the other extreme, which is 6 minus b. So that's the extremes. And then I multiply that by, or set that equal to the product of the means. The means being 4 plus b times 2. So I've got to put that parentheses in there so that I can distribute out the 2 over here and distribute out the 8 over there. So now let's go ahead and distribute. 8 times 6 is 48. And then 8 times negative b is minus 8b. We have equal, we got to distribute this 2 here. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times b is 2b. Now I can simply solve for b and make sure I've got b on just one side of the equation. So first I'm going to add 8b over here plus 8b, and then I get 48 equals 8 plus 10b, and then I can subtract 8 from both sides, and I have 40 equals 10b. Well, now I know I can just divide by 10 on both sides to get b equals 4. Okay, and that's how we can use the product property to solve a proportion.